Hi everyone. So today I'm going to do a video. I was tagged in by Aiden over at English Prof Style and Viva la Morena. So it was a tag started, I believe, by Shante Evie. And it's if I were to start my collection all over again, you have to pick 10 fragrances. And I believe there are 5 categories, which are Botanicals and Blooms, Fresh and Clean, Fruity and Bright, Treats and Sweets, and Warm and Woodsy. Honestly, though, if I were to restart my collection, they'd probably all be gourmands or sweet scents. The hardest one would definitely be Botanicals and Blooms or Fresh and Clean, followed by Warm and Woodsy. So some of these fragrances don't like 100% fit in the category, but I'm trying to make fetch happen here. All right, so for the first category, let's go on to Botanicals and Blooms. And the first one that I will nominate is an older, pretty old, aromatherapy scent by Bath and Body Works. This is Hibiscus, Mandarin, and Violet. So this one came out, I believe, in 2021. So far, I've been using this a lot in the shower as like a shower steamer alternative because I already finished that a long time ago. And I feel like this lasts a really long time on my PJs and stuff. The main notes that I get is a blend of the violet tampered down by some mandarin. The hibiscus kind of plays along as well. It just makes me think of like, trying to think how to say this, like agua de Jamaica. It's really refreshing and you drink it during the summer. It's a drink that my mom always makes, and you get the, I don't know if they're leaves. Are they leaves? Blooms? Basically, you steep the Jamaica in water and then you just add sugar to it. And this just brings me back to getting a tall glass of like agua de Jamaica during the summer. So that's one of the reasons why I chose this one. I wish it would come back, and just that Bath and Body Works would come out with more interesting aromatherapy fragrances, because it seems like they focus more on their main line, of course. So that is the first one. Okay, for the second one, you're gonna think, girl, this is a gourmand scent. What are you doing? I'm trying to make, again, fetch happen. And technically the label does have strawberry blooms, and there's a fruit in here, right? So it blooms anyways. And that is the first iteration of strawberry pound cake. This was before, well, there was a time where Bath and Body Works did not include fragrance notes on their fine fragrance mist. So anyways, this was the first iteration of strawberry pound cake. If I didn't mention that already, back when this used to be $15.50 for fine fragrance mist. And I think that this came out in 2020. And I really like the label before they like started upcharging for packaging. So this one, if I'm remembering I'm out of breath. Correctly, the fragrance notes were fresh strawberries, whipped cream, and like pound cake potentially. So I know a lot of people say that this could be cloying, but honestly, if there's ever a day when I don't know what to pick up and I just want a scent that will dry down to this nice, soft, subtle sweetness with a hint of strawberries, I choose this one. It's a very easy reach. And I personally think that this is my favorite iteration of strawberry pound cake. Sometimes it could be a little bit more cloying because the whipped cream note can sometimes go a little off. And I think this is a really good blend. There are minor, I guess, changes, but I feel like if you were to smell the strawberry pound cake in stores now, it would kind of be almost exactly the same, but not quite. That's all to say, I really like this version. Back in the day, I wanted to purchase all the iterations of strawberry pound cake, and by the 6th one, I thought, I'm done with this. I'm not spending all this money when I haven't even finished the first spray I have. So yeah, so this one, I made it fit into the category, and I would repurchase it again. All right, so that is it for Botanicals and Blooms because I'm limited to 2. Let's go on to Fresh and Clean. All right, so normally when I think fresh and clean, I think laundry, but it's also like what scents make me feel fresh and clean. And for some reason, I always go back to Pure Wonder. This is like my go-to. I have a doctor's appointment, I have a dentist appointment type scent because it's very inoffensive, still sophisticated. And I think when I think of clean girl, I would probably think of this fragrance. I also have this in the perfume, so I mainly use the perfume. I wanted to use that up first before I go on to the fine fragrance mist. The fragrance notes are iced rosé, star jasmine, warm white amber. What in that equals fresh and clean? I have no idea. Potentially, I would say the jasmine, because oftentimes like cleaning products and like potpourri and stuff, I feel like implement jasmine. And I feel like it also leads to it smelling a little bit more put together, like a perfume and stuff. But yeah, Pure Wonder is one of my favorite, I guess, more perfumey scents that Bath and Body Works has come out with. And I think this is from maybe 2020, yeah, 2023. So this was the first time that Pure Wonder came out. Going on to my next Fresh and Clean scent that kind of doesn't fit the category, but to me, Fresh and Clean, I also think of citrus scents. While I would have chosen Sunwash Citrus if I hadn't finished it already, maybe like a year or 2 years ago, I really like that one. So the next one that I will choose is Snowy Citrus Swirl. This is more of a like citrus gourmand type of scent, but I feel like in my heart it still qualifies or classifies as fresh and clean because to me this doesn't become too cloyingly sweet. I feel like the mandarin note that I know is in here still shines, where I know for example, strawberry pound cake, oftentimes people can only smell the whipped cream and the pound cake, but I feel like this one holds its own. I know there have been other similar fragrances to Snowy Citrus Swirl. Like I think some people sometimes compare it to Margarita Cupcake, but that one is a little bit more tart, bitter, and this one's a little bit more smooth out, and it just smells like a warm and cozy mandarin scent. So yeah, that would be my next pick. Okay, next, going on to Fruity and Bright. I feel like this is my go-to hot summer day fragrance, and I really like it that the liquid is clear. I hate when Bath and Body Works does colored liquid because it oftentimes stains your clothes. So when I do have a dark liquid in a fine fragrance mist, I use it as like a PJ spray or at night or on dark clothing. But we have Pink Watermelon Blast. I believe this was maybe the first time that it came out. Let's see. This one was back in 2023. And the fragrance notes are juicy pink watermelon, sugared strawberry blossoms, and lime zest. So this one smells very similar to like a watermelon Jolly Rancher, just a little bit more syrupy, at least to me. And I like it that for some reason, despite the fact that this could be more artificial leaning, I feel like it's still strong enough to last me when I go into work. So oftentimes I feel like candy scents can either disappear quickly or they can last a little bit longer. And in this case, I feel like it lasts longer. Then again, I tend to overspray because I don't necessarily layer my scents all the time, or sometimes I'm in a rush and I just use a fine fragrance mist and I spray it like 30 times or something like that. So yeah, this, I really like it. And again, I enjoy that the liquid is clear. So this would be one of the scents that I would use specifically when it's hotter outside. All right, next scent for Fruity and Bright. I think it's a lot of people's favorites that has not come out. I don't have a backup of this one, whereas the previous scents that I showed, I only have a backup of Strawberry Pound Cake because, again, I wanted to collect every packaging and I quickly stopped that. But we have Champagne Sprinkles, and this one I feel like definitely fits the category of bright because it's very bubbly yet still sugary sweet. Fragrance notes are sparkling champagne, raspberry icing, and rainbow sprinkles. So rainbow sprinkles has been used in, I guess, fine fragrance mist before at Bath and Body Works. I believe the Canadian exclusive, was it Vanilla Rainbow Sprinkles, had that note as well. And normally I don't like bubbly scents or like too effervescent scents like Prosecco, but I feel like this champagne just goes really well with the sweet feel going on here. So yeah, this is definitely a scent that I would choose. And if it didn't fit any of these categories, I'd probably make it fit. But yeah, this is such a bright scent, and this is more of an everyday wear instead of, or in comparison to Pink Watermelon Blast. I wouldn't necessarily use that during the winter or the fall time. All right, next category, going on to treats and sweets. So I really love gourmand scents, especially on my skin. So this category was a bit hard to narrow down, but I decided to choose scents that I have backups of because I feel like that really shows you if you love a scent or not when you have backups of it, or you have it in, let's say, different forms or like every form available. First one, love this scent. It didn't come back. It was in the fall bakery of maybe 2021, potentially. And that is Sugared Cherry Crisp. This, I love the pie note that's in here. Unfortunately, this is one of the fine fragrance mists that I feel like has turned a little bit more alcoholic, so it's not true to the scent that it was when I first got it. But anyways, fragrance notes are they listed on here? But just know it's like flaky pie crust, cherries, and then what else? Flaky pie crust, cherries. I don't know, but it's so authentic to what you see on the label. I don't know why there's flowers in there. I'm assuming those are cherry blossoms potentially, but there's something floral about this. I think when this candle, when this fine fragrance mist first came out in the chalkboard collection, or I don't know what it was like officially called, there was strawberry pound cake, vanilla, was it called Vanilla Cafe at the time? Because that one has been brought back under different names like Vanilla Mocha Martini, so on and so forth. And they had Plum Prosecco, and this was my favorite one. So this is a scent that I picked up the body lotion, the shower gel, the fine fragrance mist, and then I went back for another fine fragrance mist. So I haven't tested my backup that I haven't used. So I'm just a little bit nervous that the scent has altered a bit because I know the lotion, it started taking on more of this shea butter scent. But overall, I really love this scent. I know cherry fragrances are very hit and miss because they can lean a bit medicinal, but more times than not, that I don't pick that up when I smell cherry fragrances because I really enjoy them. So yeah, there is my first Treats and Sweets fragrance. All right, final Treats and Sweets fragrance that I feel like I've seen this in maybe like 3 people's videos, rightfully so, because the scent is awesome. And I think this is one of the fragrances that I'm just scratching my head why it hasn't been brought back. And I'm thinking like, is the Bath and Body Works community like small in comparison to their overall customer base or something? But this is in mostly everybody's top 10. And that is Raspberry Jam Donut. It's so true to the name, and I really love it. It's a 100% gourmand. So this one, the fragrance notes are wild raspberry jam, powdered sugar, warm fluffy donut, and the thing that makes this scent great is the warm fluffy donut in here and the syrupy jam that was used. Unfortunately, if you can kind of tell, this is one of the ones where the liquid is darker, but that hasn't deterred me from using this just because I really love the scent. When I use it, it lasts a decent amount of time. I would say 4 to 6 hours. Again, I overspray, but I feel like it stays true to when I initially spray it. And thankfully the scent hasn't changed. So I'm not sure why certain fragrances, not tarnish, but the scent gets altered or they turn very alcohol or sour or something. But fingers crossed this one stays good because I don't know if it'll be brought back. I think it's been mentioned that a lot of people thought this was it the Land of Sweets, the blueberry scent, Santa's blueberry shortbread. I remember smelling that initially, but I think at the time I didn't care for blueberry scents, and this is definitely a raspberry scent to my nose. So I'm not sure, but it is very similar to some of their Happy Hanukkah candles, Wildberry Jam Donut candles, but I feel like this is more accurate than the candles were. But I also really love donut scents in candles as well. All right, last category we have is warm and woodsy. So this one was strangely very easy for me, and that's because I ended up choosing scents that coincidentally both had sandalwood. So okay, we have one that I don't know if it recently came back because I have my bottle, so I don't need a backup of it. But this was when Bonfire Bash came out. I know one time it came out during the summer or maybe 2 times, but in this packaging, I believe it was during the fall. I could be wrong. But anyways, the fragrance notes to this are vanilla bourbon, creamy sandalwood, and cashmere musk. So with this one, the vanilla bourbon makes this slightly boozy in a seductive, creamy type of way. Again, probably the creaminess is coming from the sandalwood because out of all the like wood fragrances that I can think of, like driftwood, cedarwood, oh gosh, is that it? Driftwood, cedarwood, sandalwood, Palo Santo, I feel like I really like, yeah, just sandalwood. That's my top choice. All right, and the last scent that I choose for warm and woodsy just so happens to be my all-time favorite Bath and Body Works scent. because it holds a lot of memories to me, because at the time, this is when I started to purchase more frequently at Bath and Body Works, and my sister used to come with me and actually purchase herself besides just shopping my stash, but that's still cool and fun as well. I've tried to find dupes for this scent from a few or a couple small vendors, and they just don't do it justice. I feel like whatever mix fragrance oil doesn't accurately capture this fragrance. Thankfully, this hasn't, I keep wanting to say tarnish, this hasn't been altered. It hasn't turned alcoholic in the bottle. And I'm down to maybe about halfway. And this is one of the ones that I would actually go on Ricari and try to find it. But of course, they overpriced their like half used bottles for like 60 bucks or something. I'm not sure. I haven't looked in a while. But that's all to say, Boardwalk Marshmallow Clouds is my last choice. And while this one has a heavy marshmallow note, whipped vanilla, marshmallow meringue, white magnolia, fluffy sandalwood, I feel like if you never smelled this before, you're thinking, oh, what's it going to smell like? It smells like everything. It smells a little bit woodsy because of the sandalwood, but it's very creamed out. There's a slight hint of magnolia. And a lot of the dupes I find, the magnolia note is too prominent, because this one has like a very heavy emphasis on the marshmallow and vanilla note. It's very delicate, very soft. I think this was meant to be a summer scent, but I think it's also good to use in the fall, winter time. So a year-round scent. So yeah, I think this was the scent that started off my, I guess, body care journey at Bath and Body Works. Now I'm a bit more selective because my collection has gone kind of out of hand. All right, so those were the 10 fragrances that I chose if I were to start my collection all over again and somewhat abiding to the specified categories. I'll leave linked up in the cards, or maybe like on the end screen, my top 10 fragrances as of maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. I think since that video, I've added maybe 6 or 7 fragrances. I'm trying to wind down my purchasing at Bath & Body Works for both candles and body care. But I feel like that's still relatively accurate as to my feelings, because a lot of the scents in that video are shown here. I think some of these kind of made the cut because, for example, Fresh and Clean, as well as Botanicals and Blooms. I don't know if I would necessarily choose some of the scents in that category, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, thank you so much for tagging me, Aiden, and Viva la Morena. Let me know if you see any fragrances that you would choose. I'm sure that there's at least 2 in here that people really, really love and enjoy. All right, so let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you have a great day. Okay, bye.